Righty ho. I thought I'd just introduce you to the latest project I've been working on. This is what I call the RozBox, and basically it's a keyboard shortcut emulator for my recording software. I use Reaper for all my audio stuff. So I really, just as much I want to sort of show off what's going into it and all that kind of stuff, I really just want to hopefully inspire people to give something like this a go themselves. This is my first Arduino type project. I've sort of knew a little bit about electronics and stuff before that, but not so much about programming apart from a little tiny bit of HTML back when Bebo was still a thing. But anyway, without going on too much about it, definitely just look into this stuff because it's far more easier. It is far easier than you'd imagine. I was actually shocked how easy some of this was. So it might look quite daunting, but once you get your head around it, it's not too bad. Definitely go, if you're interested in this sort of thing, have a look. So basically, let's get into it. I've got these 5 buttons and a joystick. Also, I have an infrared receiver there. Now that one was actually pretty complicated to work out, but we'll get into that later. What we've got here is a record button. So I push this button and you can see he starts recording. Record down there. Push this one. Stop. And so that says you want to save it. So I've got a button that will click on the save and one that will click on delete. So let's press delete. Delete. There we go. I'm going to say don't use these buttons, by the way. They work, but they are so fucking cheap and nasty. We don't actually have an electronics store at the moment where I live, so I've had to get everything offline, and it has been a mission trying to find stuff sometimes. Yeah, so they look pretty cool, and they do work, but you have to really smash the fuck out of them. But yeah, they are not so great. So if you do get a chance to actually try before you buy, do it. Right, so from here, let's record again. Record. That's recording, and now we can press stop, boom, stop, and save this time. Boom, saved, and we can press this green button to play. To play. There we go. And yeah, that's it. It's playing. So now this one here is your stop, play, record, save, delete. And with this little joystick here, you can go left and right on the scrubbing, and you can make up and down to make that expand or contract. Too easy, pretty cool. So let's just take a look at what remote functions we have put on this. I'll move this over here so I can actually receive a bit better. So basically, oh, did you notice here with the red, only reason it's red, should be green. Anyway, so basically what we have is home, record, stop, scrub left, scrub right, play, pause, say, do not save, save for recording, both of those, and then save the project. So let's have a look. So I press the record button. There it goes, it's recording. And then we'll stop. So then we get the dialog box here. And I don't want to save that one there, so minus delete. Good. And so we'll go back home. Let's have a look. Take this back home. I think we're already home anyway. Anyway, and let's save the file. Boom. Here comes the save dialog box. Beautiful. Just like that. Right, so here's the embarrassing part. Let's just take this bugger apart and see what's inside. Fair warning, I'm actually basically a plumber, so I'm used to burying my work so no one can see it. It really doesn't change with this kind of project either, so oh wow, look at that. That is ugly. So there's a fair bit of soldering, not a huge amount. Basically, each one of them each one of these buttons just got two. This one's only, I think, at 5 different inputs, and we're just attaching it to all the different pins on here. I had to cut this in half and resolder it. That's just a USB, come on, focus, a USB to your mini USB plug, and that is it. Really nothing to it. It's a fairly simple box. It's screwed down onto the bottom. I made it out of the wood, so it'd be easy to work with and have a little bit of weight because this Perspex is a bit light. And that's it, just like that. The basic brain of the project is just a Pro Micro, this one here. And you can see when I'm talking about later on, I'll be talking about which pins it's been connected to. So you're really looking at these little numbers here, A1, A2, A3, and then on this side you've got 1 through 9. It's literally just as easy as soldering it up to those or attaching them in some way, and that's it. It's ready to go, pretty much. Rightio, so we'll just have a quick look at the code here. So this one was the original one I had to do, which was just trying to find the values of the actual remote itself on the buttons. So we've got the serial monitor running there. So if I press this button here, you'll notice a number comes up there, and the same with all these other buttons. They all have a unique number. So I needed to find all the values for all of those, and then wrote them down on this little pad here. So we get rid of that. That code is now pretty much useless to us. So get rid of that. And this is the actual main code I was working with. So basically it's fairly simple. These numbers here just correspond to what is being plugged into which pin. So these ones are for the joystick. Anything like this writing here is just telling you what's going on. So these joystick, and they're all just the values that they can produce. Blah, 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 blah. These ones here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they're just telling the computer that there is buttons attached to these pins, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They come down here, and this is just telling you if the joystick is pressed up, then it will correspond as, down. If it is, it will correspond with the down key being pressed. So the information given when that goes down is coming through there into the computer saying press down on the keyboard. So same with up, same with left, same with right, blah, 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 blah. So there's really not much to it. Oh, there's one thing I didn't mention before is if you press the joystick in, it's also got, this one will press the key home. So basically all you need to do is basically you could copy paste this whole code and just replace these parts here with the buttons you actually want it to correspond to. So there was a lot. It wasn't quite as easy as just doing that as far as copy pasting goes, especially since I was trying to use keyboard, infrared, and a joystick at the same time. Sometimes they would sort of argue with each other, but we got there in the end. But you see, it's the same keyboard right, same shit. So here is the infrared part. So here's those numbers there. So every time it reads that number, it will press the key home button. And again, same left control. There's only one that was really a little bit more complicated, was this bugger here. It's not huge amounts of complicated, but so when you press record and you want it to delete, when that dialog box comes up, it isn't as simple as a simple shortcut. So what you have to do is press the right quick key 3 times, so right, and press enter twice. So I've got a little bit of a delay between each, so it'll press the right button, return, and then it will stop. And then you're pressing delete. So it's a real time saver for things like that. You can actually input things like URLs, all kinds of stuff, which would actually make this very good for, and that's the end of the code there. It's not very big, pretty easy, pretty simple stuff. So make it good for doing like any type of streaming or anything. If you want a little keyboard on the side to just press certain links and take you to certain programs, things like that, easy enough to set up through something like this. Right. So basically, the moral of the story is don't be afraid to give new things a try. And don't be afraid to take up a new hobby or something you've been interested in a long time. For me, this was definitely the case. I've been putting off giving Arduino a go for years. I've always been interested in it, but I honestly I thought it'd be way too difficult. I more to the point, maybe it would take me way too long to understand enough for it to be fun. But I was wrong. That's actually been made very user friendly, even for people who are pretty noob to this kind of shit like I am. Uh, like I say, I've had fuck all coding experience, but there's just such a huge amount of resources that just really make it pretty easy, and a lot of people that are willing to share their knowledge with you. Um, and that goes for pretty much everything. So even if you're not into Arduino or coding or even anything like that, there's just if you want to get into music production, maybe even learn a new instrument, into mechanical stuff like fixing your car or building anything like that, woodwork. Just have a look online and look at all the resources that are there, and there is just so much knowledge that has been shared. It's really the best time in human history, obviously, so far, to be learning a new subject. You don't need to go to school to learn a lot of things. Don't get me wrong, you're probably not going to end up being a doctor from just YouTube videos, but something like this is a wicked just time killer, a wicked way to get a little bit of satisfaction out of life. So yeah, don't be afraid to give something a go, and yeah, I'm more than willing to help anyone who needs any help with this sort of thing or anything else I have interest or knowledge with. So yeah, thanks for watching.